Just to recap on my previous item, journalism is essentially about accurately informing an audience of what it wants or needs to know, as quickly and as simply as possible. To meet these criteria, journalists are trained to start their reports with the most important and interesting information they have. The reports must always be accurate and well balanced, and they must be easy to understand and timely, and well sourced to give them maximum credibility. Sound challenging? It's not really, and that's largely because getting it all together revolves around 6 key words: what, who, why, where, when, and how. They're the centerpiece of every news story, and every one of them should be addressed in every report every time. Readers, whether they've barely made it through primary school or hold a PhD in nuclear physics, really want to be told as quickly and as simply as possible what happened, where did it happen, when did it happen, who did it happen to, how did it happen, and why did it happen. The order in which these questions are answered will change from story to story, and sometimes the journalist will not be able to fully answer all of them. But the journalist must either answer or tell readers he or she does not know, or at least did not know at the time of going to press or on air. Put yourself in the position of a journalist and consider this brief news report as an example of what I mean. A teenage boy was seriously injured in North End last night when he was knocked from his bicycle by a car in Western Parade. A police spokesman said investigations into the cause of the collision were continuing. We know who and what. A teenage boy was seriously injured. We know how. He was knocked from his bicycle by a car. We know when, last night. And we know where, in Western Parade, North End. One thing we don't know, but have still addressed, is why. A senior police spokesman said investigations into the cause of the collision were continuing. This story can now be expanded with anything else interesting, from, say, police, media, ambulance, hospital, family, witnesses, or any other credible sources. Typically, it might be something like, North End Police Sergeant James Smith said the boy, 13, from South Bend, was on his way home from football practice when the accident happened at 11 p.m. He was unconscious when the ambulance arrived, and after emergency treatment at the scene, was flown to Southdown General Hospital, Sergeant Smith said. A hospital spokesman said a short time ago his condition had improved and he was now stable but serious. His name has not been released. Depending on how much we want to make of the story, we can keep asking what, who, why, when, where, and how on the new detail. Perhaps something enlarging on this sentence. Police said the boy, 13, from South Bend, was on his way home from football practice when the accident happened at 11 p.m. We might wonder what time the football practice ended. Who, if anybody, was with him? Why was the 13-year-old going home from football training at that hour? Where might he have been between training ending and the time of the accident? And how many others of his age are getting home after sport training at this hour? Some, or all, of these answers are potentially newsworthy, if not for this story, perhaps for a follow-up on, say, after-school training for young footballers, or even a report on young people out on the streets after dark. Again, always start with what, who, why, where, when, and how securely in your mind. As you develop and expand on basic information, as we did when we started to add to our initial 2-sentence accident report, apply the same questions to any interesting detail that surfaces. Before long, you'll find you've developed a police brief into something closer to a page lead. Well, that's enough for now. Next, I'll show you some of the ways reporters can be helped to find worthwhile stories on quiet news days.